Hey everybody, Shay here, and I wanted to do a spotlight episode on a collection of omnibuses for Abe Sapien, which is a character from the Hellboy universe. This is still in plastic. I'm going to open it up and take a look at the pages, take a look at the book quality in particular. I've only read the first two trades of this, which are right here, which are collected in one of these trades. These are now not part of the ongoing series. So number one is called The Drowning, which kind of gives a bit of an origin tale of stuff. I enjoy Abe Sapien quite a bit. And then I have The Devil Does Not Jest and other stories. Hellboy did a lot of this stuff where they would have just guest writers or artists, and so they do like these one-shot mixed the comics that would just come up here and there. And to be honest, here, I'll flip through this a little bit. I mean, we're gonna flip through all of this when so I had a bit of a mold problem. I talked about it in a previous episode. I mean, this one, the pages didn't get nailed. It didn't feel like they got nailed. It's still pretty decent, but let me tell you, I flipped through this thing and I definitely got hit with a little bit of the whammy. Anyways, there's, it's definitely a horror tale. At the end of the day, there's just it's a lot of creepy stuff. This goes back into the 1800s, Abe's stories, so it's pretty cool. And the covers are, I do like that cover artwork right there. Kind of a little bit not Cthulhu-y, what am I talking about? Lovecraftian of sorts. Oh yeah, this definitely smells like it's likely got some mold issues, although it looks perfect, but that whole shelf got hit. So likely these are probably going to get pitched, which is why I got, let's just put those there now, which is why I got these, these heavy bastards. These came on sale for like 40% off for Canadians, for a bunch of Hellboy books. I think it was all the omnibuses. Why don't I just look up the plural for that? Anyway, so I got all of them. It was a lot of money, but 40% off. So of course it was a lot of money, but I got a lot for that money. So a little bit about Abe Sapien for those who might know Hellboy but don't know that Abe Sapien basically got enough of a series in the last decade, at least for these two volumes where in the last couple years, not quite a decade, he had his ongoing series. It's been collected into the trade forms, and then the trades have been collected into this omnibus collection. So Abe Sapien was actually a man by the name of Langdon Everett Call. He was a Victorian scientist and businessman who was involved with the Oan Society, which was a sort of secret society that believed that all life came from the sea. This is a very kind of Lovecraftian, again, kind of not trope, but just a story pattern from Lovecraftian tales. You got the Dagon and the It's Lovecraftian. Just take my word for it. And Hellboy is very influenced by all of that Lovecraftian stuff. There's always a spin that Mike Mignola puts on his character designs when it comes to that, so that it doesn't. I forget where I read it. It was in one of the bonus. Like I read everything in a trade because you always find out the little tidbits of like interesting information. But it was that. I think it was in BPRD is where I read this, where that the monsters and stuff didn't. They wouldn't have tentacles, which is strange because I mean this takes place in the water, so there's likely going to be tentacles. But for the most part, they were more. One of the rules was you used insect pieces, like insect inspiration, as opposed to water or tentacle, or that stuff that's kind of been overdone with Lovecraftian mythos and stuff inspired by Lovecraft. So I thought that was kind of neat. So anyway, so him and his crew basically go into these underwater ruins, and they discover something, and then and I don't want to give a lot of it away, but they do an arcane ritual, and it turns Call into Ichthyo Sapien. Basically the breed of kind of like the Guildman sort of design breed, this guy right here. They end up putting Call into a tube to preserve him, which sort of, when I saw the trailers to, oh my god, Listen to Water, something of water, Speaking with Water, something with the Guildman in the tube, and then later they get Shape of Water. In the movie Shape of Water, I thought it was going to be a movie of Abe Sapien because anyways, I was very excited. It felt like it should have been a movie, about Abe Sapien. And then from there, he ends up in suspended animation. Because of the American Civil War, the society kind of breaks apart. Then he gets discovered by workmen in 1978, and BPRD comes in, takes him in, and then when they reawaken him, he doesn't remember anything of his past. They're going to do studies and research Abe Sapien, this breed. They don't know what it is, and I mean, they don't even know that it was a human that became this thing. But then Hellboy basically shows some empathy and stops the process of basically dissecting what Abe is, who he is, and they call him Abe because of the year of Abraham Lincoln's assassination, and then he joins BPRD's ranks. And there you go. And so with that, let's go to this website here. I'm going to switch cameras so we can go through here. Here's the Hellboy wiki that talks about you know, what's collected. And so the way it looks like they've listed these trades, and you know, it's not that this one doesn't come first, because a lot of the content in here is from the earlier trades. It comes from Volume 1, The Drowning, Volume 2, The Devil Does Not Jest, and Other Stories, which are the two that I just showed. Those get collected in here. Plus 9, Volume 9 here, and then some other stuff. Now, it looks like what they've done is they've grabbed all of the extra pieces here and there, and it's just a bunch of other stories. So, which by the name, The Drowning and Other Stories. It's something that Hellboy trades generally do. It's something and other stories, and it's usually the one-shots and things that they just collect that don't really go with the main storyline that you're trying to tell. It's stuff that happens out of continuity and stuff like that, and it's just to give you more story. I'm going to open up this one right here, which is The Drowning and Other Stories, and so this one, like I said, includes Volume 1, 2, and 9, and let's do an unboxing. Let's get this back to the vlog cam so we can get a good shot of this. Okay, so it's got a nice sleeve. Protects the cover. Good printing, glossy finish here. I mean, and I'm not going to talk about the quality of the book and the shipping, although this one did seem to come pretty decent. There's a ding on the corner, but I mean, that's not the publisher's fault. Obviously, that's the shippers. It's just, that's what happens when you ship books. You always take the chance, right, and the risk. And we have some back cover art here of what looks like a swollen, drowned zombie-ish kind of thing, because of course, and a bunch of creators here. We have Mike Mignola, of course. We have John Arcudi, who is he's on BPRD. Scott Ali is the long-running editor of the Hellboy series. I think he was in there, oh my god, almost since the beginning, if I recall correctly, somewhere in like 1994 to, I mean, recently. I've seen that name a lot. Jason Sean Alexander, can't say I've heard that name or I forget it. James Heron, Peter Snelsberg, I'm sorry. Dave Stewart, which is the colorist, the kind of like the recognizable color palette of Hellboy stories. Dave Stewart, he's solid, and others, which is like the inkers and stuff like that. So in the inside sleeve, you got the BPRD logo here, just some matte black. Let's just see what the cover looks like. So kind of like library-esque. Periodical edition. This actually looks really good. Like, to be honest, without the cover sleeve on it, it's pretty cool. There's a nasty ding here. I really care about my books, so when I see dings, my heart hurts a little bit, but it is what it is. I'm gonna move on. Let's see what the back looks like. Okay, so we have some breakdown here for Mike Mignola, background John Arcudi, Scott Ali. Yep, began editing Mike Mignola's Hellboy in 1994. There you go. Eventually joining Mignola as co-writer on BPRD. I did not remember that. That's probably why I remembered his name, though. Strangely enough. Abe Sapien and others. He edited Joss Whedon's comic book Fray, and has worked with Whedon on many other titles. I also didn't know that, but this being from Dark Horse, at the publisher, Whedon does a lot of work with Dark Horse. Buffy series has been there, Angel series has been there, Firefly has been there. I haven't picked. I would pick those up. I've heard good things about them. But if they're in like major collections, I wouldn't want to pick up the smaller trades. There you go. And then we have Jason Sean Alexander, has worked over 20 years as an illustrator. So looks like he's the main artist. So this is cool. I haven't seen this piece of art before. Try to get some glare off of that. But that's kind of a neat piece of artwork right there. I love the design and the idea of Abe Sapien. I don't know why. It's like, it's a super simple character, and it's like, it's a gill man, you know? But it's more than that. It's more than that. Anyways, so we have an introduction here by Scott Ali, the editor, and then we have, of course, a Mignola. There's just the typical, wonderful, simple, bold, clean line, like just such a control on contrast. Mike Mignola, of course. So we have a cover there. And then we get straight into it. So we have art by Jason Alexander. Yeah, he's got more of a sketchy style. Let's see if I can get to. I suppose that's good. Not sketchy. I don't mean that in a bad way, but he's got more of an illustrative style, more of a typical kind of, you know, a little bit scratchier. But I kind of like that. It feels. I always find like scratchy art just has a bit more of a. I don't know, like in a zombie story, it feels right. In, you know, as opposed to like I always feel like an artist's line work really matters to the story you're trying to tell and to the genre that it's in. So, you know, something that's very kind of clean lined, you just don't want that in a zombie book, because you want the zombies to feel like they're falling apart and they're kind of scraggly and stuff like that. So the line work, an artist who can just do that organically, that's who you want in a book like that, because it just makes more sense. Art like this, when I see kind of here, let's show just a talking head page-ish kind of thing to kind of illustrate. So it feels kind of, I don't know, I get like a sort of gothic-y vibe to it. Like I feel like it belongs in that era. I don't know why, I don't know what it is, but this art definitely appeals to me. I like it. Okay, so let's click through some more of these. This is The Drowning. Let's try to get to some. See, because, and I love aquatic characters like this because of just visuals like that, you know? Visuals like that on that page with the ship. It's just great. There's just so many opportunities you can do, like underwater stuff that I don't. It's not overdone. It's not overdone because, oh, see you here. Oh my God, here, watch. Like I was talking about, right? When like you want this kind of art style because it really brings those zombies. It gives them, or I don't know. I believe they are ghouls or zombies, but it just makes them look like they're more, you know, zombie-ish. I don't know. So what was I saying about? Yeah, I mean it's not. I was gonna say overdone. It's not that it's overdone. It's just there's one direction you can sort of take with aquatic kind of scenarios and settings and stuff like that. With storytelling, I'm sure like Aquaman has tons of these opportunities, and I just haven't followed Aquaman in the last couple of years at all. I mean, I think I followed the. I mean, the only Aquaman I followed was the New 52 relaunch for a couple trades. But I've always cared. I mean, I got him right up here. Like I love the idea of Aquaman, but I've never really felt tied to the character. But I love the concept, and so I get my Aquaman here. I like more monstery kind of perspectives to this theme. Okay, let's click through some more. We got some more zombies. We got some monster fighting on the surface. I think if I recall correctly, it's him kind of getting at his history. Now this doesn't look like something I recognize. I don't remember it, but something about that page in particular sort of meaningful to me. I like the idea of it, and again, that artwork, that kind of scratchier artwork, like I said, it just feels like it fits that gothic Victorian vibe. So there we go. We got some seance. I don't want to spoil myself now because I'm going into I'm likely going into, well, I don't know where I am. I know it's collecting 2 trades worth. I feel like I've at least crossed there, like 2 trades worth right there. But I've still got all of that to go. So how is that possible, right? I don't know what else I have in here. I have volume 9 and then Casualties, The Calm Before the Storm. How big were those books or those miniseries? I want to get to the art. I want to get to just taking a look at. Oh, I have to show it. Because again, it illustrates what I love about this art style. There you go. And this, how I believe that line work just adds some energy to the page, and of course Dave Stewart's colors always kind of keeps it simple and makes the focus, brings the focus to the page, and yeah, very cool. Okay, we got some joining BPRD. Here we go. I got a page where it says BPRD Casualties. So the art style is definitely changed. So this has a bit more of a, I don't want to say Jeff Lemire, but it does have that kind of cleaner line. I love Jeff Lemire. Well, also one of my favorite creators of all time, not just artists, writers, because the art style, it's like it's just different. It feels different. It has different has a different life to it or something. And I'm getting that a little bit here. It looks a little bit more cartoony. So I'm not 100% solid on what this is going to mean. But this art style is. Hold on a second. Is this art from? Is this the Guy Davis? Guy Davis is BPRD, isn't he? It took me a while to get used to, and that's only because I got so used to Mike Mignola's art and that contrast line work that it took me a while to sort of adapt to more of that kind of, I hate to say the word cartoony because that's not really how I mean it, but you know what I'm saying. The line work is just smoother. I don't know, it almost feels like a little bit of Michael Oeming's work. So the artist on Powers, Brian Michael Bendis's Powers, he's got an even looser style that's more like Bruce Timm. I'm going into nerd territory here with artist names flying around. Now I'm into another story here called The Haunted. See, that's not on the wiki page. One called The Haunted Boy. Now that might have been in a collection called Casualties. I don't know. See, I'm not familiar with what I'm looking at now to give you context about any of where these are coming from. I'll show you some cover work because I think that's kind of a cool thing to showcase without giving away that last page there. Again, I like that skull in the water too. I didn't even catch it until I looked at it right now. Until I put it into the screen, I was like, that's a skull in the water. That's a really clever little take there. Now, art style here, I would say, who's doing this one? Because this is Patrick Reynolds. Now, I don't dislike the art style, but it's definitely gonna take me some getting used to again. Feels like it's maybe photo referencey. Like here, that's one good example of where it feels a little stiff because I feel like maybe there's some photo referencing going on here, and so it doesn't feel as dynamic. I mean, it's still cool. Maybe it's just a lot of people talking. My gut feeling right now is that, oh damn, that's okay. I'm not gonna show that page. Oh god. Okay, I'm gonna just skip through a bunch of stuff because that feels like I just hit a bunch of spoiler stuff. Look neat, but anyways, funny thing I mentioned Michael Oeming because I'm 100% certain this next story is Michael Avon Oeming. So you'll see, like he's got a very Mike Mignola inspired art style too. A lot of heavy contrast, very clean line work. Not scratchy at all. So that's what's weird. It's either like I got that Mike Mignola high contrast art style that I love about Hellboy, that it just feels iconic to Hellboy. But then I love the scratcher style. But that's more because I love that style when you're doing zombie stories. I like the more grungy stories. But yeah, Michael Oeming. I don't even have to go in close for this one. You can see like the inspiration is there to Mike Mignola. His Powers. I feel like his Powers books are a little more colorful and not as heavy on the contrast. Like you can see there's a lot of blacks, a lot of like heavy blacks going on here with the shading, with the blocking. Cool monster designs. I'm just going to flip through here. And now we have Witchcraft and Demonology, which is art by Santiago Caruso. Whoa, that's a completely different art style again. There's a cool heavy red cover there. I love art design that does that too, or just does solid colors over blocks of area, and just pops out like the black and whites, or I think this is off tone. It's not just black and white, just some off tone. Anyway, so the art style here is quite different. That's why other stories, it's kind of jarring in a collection like this. It might as well just be a collection of, I don't mind, I'm not, this isn't a negative criticism. I'm just saying it's jarring because this is why, if this was an ongoing series and you did this with artists, you kept switching them around, which I know is what happens in current runs and at the big companies, which is why I just don't follow. I don't follow them along. I might buy a trade here and there, but I'll be honest, some of the latest trades I've bought in the last 5 to 8 years, or about something like that, probably 6 to 8 years, I get disoriented. I'm like, did I miss it? I feel like I miss trades because I don't buy them right away. I'll spend like 2 years will pass, and then I'll buy another stack of trades, right? And then when I read it, I'm like, where was I? I feel lost. And so then I have to go back to my collection. I have to reread my collection, and then the artist changes, and I just get disrupted. So at that point, don't even make it an ongoing story. That's my whole thing, is like, just make trades and put an artist on like 6 issues, 4 to 6 issues, and just finish the story. Just finish the story for trades. Like, if that's what you're going to do with your art assets, with your resources, do that for the benefit of the customer. Do that. Anyways, I'm ranting. Let's move on. We do have a very illustration-y style. This has a vibe of being like kind of like Northern Renaissance-y kind of Garden of Earthly Delights or Pleasures. I forgot what the name of that title is, but kind of like the darkish kind of creepy ass work. Or another artist that came to mind was oh come on, it'll come to me. Come on, the one with the like the devouring. Oh jeez, William Blake. William Blake. Getting a vibe for that. Oh yeah. I hope it's not spoilery. It's just art. I'm just showcasing art. Got a little like the devil, demon, goat thing because yeah. But it's just the way it's drawn and designed. It feels like it's like an 1890s sort of thing because the art back then in that era of fine art, this just feels like that. It's like those dark ass paintings coming to life. Whoa, that was really dark, man. There are some really cool pages in here that, well, I mean, as I said, I'm like, this is William Blake all over the place. Maybe I should I show? No, I'm not gonna. Should I no, maybe no, I'm not gonna show. It's cool. Let's move on. Let's get to the next book. I mean, so far I'm pretty impressed. We have like a pretty here next cover. Again, huge art shift here. You got a little bit of a, I don't know, 70s pulpy, not 70s, 60s maybe vibe to the abyssal plane. The abyssal plane. Yeah, it has a bit of a 60s vibe, or maybe cold. Oh, there's like Russian. It's a Russian sub maybe. Yep. So it's got maybe a Cold War story. This would have been, I mean, Abe Sapien, he was brought in 79, I think, to BPRT. So Peter Snelsberg. So we have another art style, not like the cover. This one is more what I would call more kind of modern comics art style going on. I'm trying to find a page here. A lot of people talking around, which I'm not a huge fan of, because then you get kind of spreads like this that just feel kind of flat and boring, you know? And that's I feel like not, it doesn't really move me. It doesn't really move me with storytelling when that's done. 4 pages of that, 5, 6, 7. So it's a little weird. Okay, I don't hate the art style again, so I don't want to be too critical of it, you know? But it feels like it definitely doesn't fit with what's going on, I would say. But to be honest, who is the artist? I mean, there's a really, oh god, come on, Garth Ennis. I gotta look this up. Preacher artist. Oh my god, come on. I mean, I've lent all my trades away, so I don't. So I can't look this up. They've been gone for like years. I want the bag. They took forever for me to find, because I got into it late, and so I ordered them super late. Had to get them through eBay. Some of them were expensive. Anyways, we have, who am I thinking? He did Wolverine, I think. I remember him. Steve Dillon. Jeez, Steve Dillon. Some people enjoy Steve Dillon. I'm not a big fan of Steve Dillon's art. I always felt like it just wasn't for me. Didn't really fit for me. This imagery here reminds me of Interview with a Vampire, of course. I don't know what's going on there, but creepy, and creepy is wonderful. I love it. Subtle creepiness is great. Yeah, same art style, so we'll flip through it. It's neat. I mean, it does some gore. Pretty cool. Oh yeah, who is this? This can't be the same guy. Hold on. This is James Herron. This is not the same artist. Great, actually. This is the next spread too, so just the action just continues. Hellboy does this a lot too, so I'm glad that they sort of carry this through. I do feel like Mignola does this way better than most people. His action is just, it just feels like art. The action itself feels like art, but they take the time with it. It's almost I don't know, manga takes time with this kind of stuff, you know, and so I love that they take time to do that. I mean, that just took 7 pages. It was just clobbering. Very, very little words used to kind of tell that story, and just kind of let the action tell a narrative. Just feel like a narrative to you. Because that's a pretty cool, feel like a narrative. I mean, it is a narrative. There's a big moss. You know what I'm saying? It's just let your brain like kind of get into the scene, and your eyes just absorb the stuff and enjoy it, you know? Okay, so let's kind of ranting on about this, but I still have 2 omnibuses to go through, man. This doesn't look like Mike Mignola, the Ogopogo cover there, but I think they're trying to do that heavy contrast style. That's a Mignola art style. We have Kevin Nolan. I'm not familiar with the Kevin Nolan. It's also got very clean art style there. Clean line work. So depends on the story that's being told, right? It's just if it starts going grungy and stuff like that, this art style for me doesn't really fit, but it tells a story. It tells a story, and it does just what I would call just, yeah. I mean, I hate. I'm always like careful with the words I choose because I don't mean them in like a negative criticism-y way, you know. But when I say serviceable, I don't mean that as like you're not good. This stuff is good. It's good. It's just I feel like the line work itself is missing some character, and I like line work that has some character to it. I like when the art adds something to the storytelling, to the visual storytelling. Because you can have like a super talented, really high detailed artist on pages. The artwork is magnificent and beautiful, and I would have likely said something just like that. Because sometimes I'll see that, I'm like, wow, this art is beautiful, but it just doesn't fit the tone of the story I'm reading. It doesn't fit it. And it's not a negative thing. Wow, this is pretty. It's not a negative kind of commentary. It's just how I feel, yeah. We have a Mark Nelson. Mark Nelson. Whoa, that's it. Cool. It took me a while to kind of see what that cover was showing, but I'll showcase that cover too. If I do this for every book, we're going to have an hour and a half video. I might have to split this up, but that's just cool, kind of translucent skin there of these aquatic things. Very neat. And then the inside art. See, here's the thing. This art, and let's see how long this goes. Oh, this is a very, very short story. Oh, geez, like it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. So this was like a mini story. But look at this art style, and it's completely different. But like I feel like it fits in with the story that they're trying to tell, right? You got these translucent skinned things, but look at the color, like the way that they play with the cools and the warms, and it sort of adds a different layer to the feeling behind what's good. The action itself is like, because Abe is, I don't know, it's just look at this the page before. Like it gives it that ghostly feeling. Maybe it's that aura effect that's going on with the colors that just gives that translucency more life, and it works. See, this is an art style that is for this story, because this story needs to convey that in the illustrations. So this has got to be a Mignola. Where's his signature? Maybe not, because it feels like a little bit more detailed with the with the texture of the. Is that Roger, the golem? I haven't seen Roger in a story for ages. Is it Juan Ferreira? Illustration-y. Kind of, again, it feels like it could be more of art in an art book. Yeah, this is Roger's story. It's cool. But is it good for comic books? Again, for this comic book, sorry. I'm sure it's great for comic books. It's serviceable to push the story along. Again, just talking head page, because I like to use that as a sort of relative comparison for art styles. Let's see how there's a lot of heads. I mean, beautiful art. Can't say I don't enjoy it, but it feels like the story's a little bit still or something. Oh, this is some really cool visuals though. Oh yeah, that's cool. All right, let's move on. Can't show everything. We have a Abe Sapien. That is a Mignola, a 2015 piece cover right there. Again, you can see what I mean about just the contrast doing most of the work here, and not the extra details on surfaces. And this art here is Alice Luskova. Whoa, let's just go to the first page here. To get some. Oops, there we go. I like the design of Abe Sapien. Makes him look a little bit more alien-ish instead of human. I can appreciate that. Let's see what else happens here. It's a bit of a mix of an art style. Like, I feel like the inside pages here, talking head pages. Again, it feels like it'll service a story. I'm not getting much more character off of the line work. Yeah, it doesn't really work for me. Let's show some. Showing too many talking heads. That's what I mean about the art. It feels like it feels more. I don't know. Like this would work in a teen story, like a book meant for teenage audience sort of thing, and whatever that story entails, you know. It's friendly. It's like a friendly line work. I don't know how to. I'm gonna lose like words I can use to explain different quality of lines. You know. So I've reached the sketchbook area. We have a few pages left here. It looks like there's maybe 32, 44, 50, about 50 pages worth of extra stuff that includes sketchbooks. Let's see. We got some notes of things like breaking down. I just love things like this. I read all of this. It's so interesting, like character designs and why, and just like the notes of why, decisions were made. We've got some sketches of pages. We've got some Mignola. These are Mignola for sure. Mignola covers. That was probably for some of the series there. Like what I love about it, it's like these are things that you put on walls. Like his covers and artwork is just you could frame stuff and just put it on walls. All of the damaged trades I have that got that water damage, I'm basically salvaging panels from them, and I'm gonna do stuff with it because the art is beautiful, man. So why would I just throw those trades? No, I'm just gonna chop them up. No one wants it. They're like mold infested to some degree. I'm gonna go to the pages that are the least mold infested. I'm gonna see if I can clean them up, or like I might like do plastic coats on them, like what's it called, laminating, just so I can seal that shit. And then boom, you got yourself. You can put it into something and frame it and stuff, and you got a piece of art. And there you go. I'm gonna try anyways. We'll see if it works. Okay, we got some more character designs, some more covers. Oh, that's a cool James Bond. I got a James Bond feel to these covers too, you know? What I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. You sensed it too. You saw it right away. There you go. And then I get like a pulpy feel with these kinds of designs. I've seen a couple of these kinds of designs on their novels as well. And I love it because it just gets this pulpy vibe to it. Like really nice 40s, 50s horror kind of callback, you know? Yeah. Oh, like look at these. Look at this. I love these designs so much. The devil does not jest. Who did these? Dave Johnson. Man, that is solid work, man. Solid work. I pay him for covers. That's neat. Okay, some more character designs. Oh, these are great creature designs here. I'm not sure I'll show a couple spreads here. So just stuff like this. Basically an art book, a collection of a bunch of designs that went into the book. I love it. Some more covers, some water samples. There's things like this. So like page breakdowns and pencils to kind of get a sense of the different, so sketch to, you know, pencils to inks. Let's see. More character designs from this artist too. Elise's. Yeah, like I said, more, again, not bad art. But I could see this in an animation. Like this is more, I could see it in like, not Disney, but yeah, sort of. I just see animation with that. And, oh, sweet. Heavy red cover right there. So good. So good. So simple, but so good. And that's it. And my God. So that is the first one. That is just the collected. It's just the collected. Maybe I'll go through these next ones faster because I haven't read any of these, and so I don't want to spoil myself. Yeah. So for my sake, I don't want to flip too slowly. I don't want to spoiler myself on some of the monsters and stuff either. You know, sometimes that's part of the fun of getting through this. But same sort of deal. Oh, this one's got goddamn shivers. Got a big ass ding on the spine there. Poor spine. The design is relatively the same. Quick monster design here. Just take a look. I don't think that's Abe Sapien. That's likely an opponent Abe Sapien is going to deal with. Couple new names here. We got Scott Alley is back with Mignola. I guess he's co-writing a lot of these things. Dark and Terrible is the actual storyline they were doing. So Volume 1 and Volume 2 is all the continuity is all for positioning that. Oh, there was some note I read for that Drowning and Other Stories is that the ordering of the stories in it was reordered by, I believe, Scott Alley. He talks about it in his introduction. I read that on the wiki page where it was for best reading, so it wasn't by publication or how it appeared in the original trades. They were sort of refiltered so that there was a different flow that Scott Alley put in place. Now, I would trust him because he's been on a lot of these titles since '94. So his ordering, and normally I would read things based on release date, but in that case, just go with it. Because none of that is a continuity. It's all just a bunch of stories. Whereas this collection and the next one, everything is in release, the publication order. I believe that the ongoing series, sometimes had guest artists go in, and so it would be like stories that happen out of continuity. Probably those ones are the ones that are in that one right there, and that the previous one I'm pointing at it. Anyways, the previous one we just looked at is probably all those little one shots that happen through this series. But this series is the continuity that it just tells the story of the Dark and Terrible, whatever that is. Let's take a look at some of let's see some names here. Feels like, oh, these two guys are family here. So we have a Sebastian with Max, and they have the same last name, so brothers. Fiumara. Oh gosh, come on, go on. Oh god, I can see the binding. Please. Book, stay safe. So here, let's just close it carefully. Let's just get a hold on this thing. Okay, let's get through some of these pages. I just want to take a look at what this art style looks like of these guys. Oh, okay. Okay, well, whoever this one is, probably a Sebastian, but look at like the monster design there. Looks a little bit cool. Looks cool. Line work so far. I can get used to it, I think. Now let's get a little further. Yeah, it's got some character to it. I like it. So it's hard to explain what I mean, but here it's in a simple way, but without really. I mean, it's not here. I'll just talk about it. So you see that in there. Where is it? So you see right here. Where's my finger? Right here. Right there. You see how that brushwork there, like they're using white to sort of make that grass stand out, like that kind of line work is what impresses me. Even the way they kind of blend, like push these lines into just kind of more atmospheric coloring. It takes some control to do that, and to do that with the inking. To make inking kind of create texture like that is, I think, is what I'm looking for sure. Or even here, let's see. I mean, you don't need to do this, but look at the sign here on the next page. You have a bit of like splatter going on to help with the effect, and so it's a little grungier, you know. Some people don't like that, to be honest. I've heard people say that it's like dirtier, like that when like line work gets dirty like that, they don't like it. Like, I don't know. What's the artist's name? Kenneth Frankenfort. He did some designs during the New 52. I love that dude's art, man. I don't know what book he was on. I think he was on Red Hood and the Outlaws. Wasn't it? I'm fairly certain. Loved his art. I love his art. I don't know what people's problem is with that stuff. Too messy. What's wrong? Anyways, big toothy creature. Here, I'm gonna just some of the earlier pages just to kind of get again. Capture this art. They still kind of play with, or this artist plays with that heavy contrast. It's in a different way, but the spirit is there. So I like it. Okay, let's skip through a bunch of pages now, because I do want to be very careful about what I'm spoiling, because this is one main story. But let me see if I can get to the next one. Now, if these guys are family, maybe they're kind of like the Kubert brothers. I'm throwing a lot of names around here. I go back a long time. A lot of names are stuck in my head. So Andy Kubert, Adam Kubert, their father. There's in the early 90s, it was the Jim Lee style. Like, there was a lot of Jim Lee cloney kind of artists, but they kind of got their own line, into the mid 90s. But I love the Kuberts. I love the Kubert brothers, and I could barely tell them apart. And so maybe these brothers are the same way. Maybe they're not brothers. Maybe they're cousins. Maybe they're like father and son. I don't know. I don't know anything about them. We have a fight scene here, which looks pretty neat. Sure, I'll show this set of pages here. So, very good control of the environment again with the inking and the way that it blocks the panels with using the whites. Just that it's a kind of like mist or dust spitting up, but just it makes the forms pop out. The forms that need the focus pop out. It's very good control of space and form. So let's flip through. I just saw a Bioshock-esque. Whoa. That's a completely different art style. This might be the other dude. Hold on, let me see. Yeah, okay, so we have chapter 2. Now let me confirm this with... No, they don't tell you who's actually working on the inside art here, but you can... Who does this look like? This artwork. Oh, that's creepy. Here. I know who I'm thinking of, but the name again is strangely escaping me, and it really shouldn't. All-Star Superman with Grant Morrison and Quietly. That's here. Let's see if I can get another one. The line work reminds me of, but not really. The shapes and the forms don't. No, I take it back. It's not the guy I was thinking of. I was thinking of Frank Wiley. No, there's I mean, because then there's like a weird, not weird. Again, that sounds negative. But there's like a flashbacky scene, and it kind of gets a little bit cartoony and a little bit just looser. You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. I actually quite enjoy that in comics when the art isn't photorealistic. I mean, that definitely don't. I don't enjoy stiff photorealism, but just has character. Like the characters have character in the lines and the forms, and it's looser. It's a comic book, man. So I'm all for just taking some liberties in the design of forms, you know, shapes. Oh, it has a bit of a Sam Keith. Again, throwing names around. It's going to be meaningless to a lot of people. But Sam Keith, the Max, you know, a little bit of like the artwork there. I mean, you can always Google these names and check it out. But a little bit of that going on. Okay, I'm going to flip through a lot more here. And as soon as I say a lot more here, I stop like 3 or 4 pages in. Here, the Bioshock. There's a Bioshock influence there. Okay, kind of dude there, which of course, dude over here. This Iron Man here is the only Iron Man toy I have, and the only one I need because it feels like it belongs. Like, it's just cool. I love this guy. It's like an underwater Iron Man with a drill. I don't know why I got that. I'm not an Iron Man fan for the most part, but I love the design of it. It looks steampunky. Oh, that looks neat. Okay, go. That looks neat too. Okay, no, I like the art style. No, fine, show it. I'll show it. I gotta move on though. But cool art there. I love it. I do love it. Okay, sold. So I'm a third into this. These art. I do like the art. Okay, now let's go a little faster here. A little faster. Halfway through the book. Everything's still. Yep. It's got like a bit of I don't want to say Walking Dead feeling too, like a Tony Moore. Derailing. Let's go through this. Yeah, what was I saying? So it feels like a bit of that. It has a bit of that feel to it. Definitely is almost like this is like a mix of the stuff I was talking about for the other stories, where there was that sketchier feeling, but then a bit more of that freedom that comes from more of a cartooning angle perspective. And it's this wonderful mix of it, to be honest. I'm not like seeing stuff here because here you go. Like they're gonna get into a zombie fight, and then they get into being able to pull off a panel like that where the art style all of a sudden does what I was talking about, where it gets a little grungy, but where it matters, and only in a way that supports the action of the scene. And again, with the next page, and then you get things like this where I was talking about how they knock out the details in that panel right there. They knock out the details around the thing you're supposed to focus on. They got this mastery over doing that. Because it does, I've seen it a couple times as I flip through, so very neat. Okay, now, wow, tons of, so this is how much bonus content is in this one here. Where's the other set of, so there's all the stack. This right here is bonus material. Let's see what we got here. So character has sketches, some page breakdowns, some covers. I won't show all of them, but it's kind of a nice illustration-y, sketchy style to it. A lot of pinup sort of art. I've seen this somewhere. I love this piece right here. It's just so simple, but it's cool. And again, it kind of makes him look more monstrous than human, which I like. Which, if this is Mignola 2013, which sort of fits like Mignola, this one, like the shape there. You see that shape? Little otter, right? But you don't get that. You don't get that with the more recent designs of Abe. So, okay, then we got, well, that's a nice piece. Again, I do see a bit of Quietly in there. And I said no, but sort of, but not really. Oh, so much, and just they write on almost every page. There's like some commentary. This is like getting the extra footage on a DVD, you know. And so like for me, I watch a movie and then I watch every commentary. It's back to back. I might spend like, I don't know, sometimes 9 to 12 hours on one movie, because if they have 3 commentaries, I'm like, well, I guess that's my Saturday, and I'll watch it over, and get all of it. I just consume everything on the DVD. That's why I love like when collections like this come together and they put a bunch of pages in the back that kind of talk about the process. I'm a lover of process, finding out how people approach things, how they think about things, how they bring these ideas together, how they evolve in order to then actually produce the final work. It's the final work. Like the final work is not always the final work, you know. And a lot of people you might think that these things just come out of a creator's head and boom, it's done. No, the process is a huge part of the experience, and even as a creator, and it only really ends as soon as you put it on paper and then it gets printed and you're like, well, you might have kept changing it as an artist. An artist almost sometimes, like, not almost sometimes, an artist has a hard time letting go, oftentimes is how I would put it, of things. They want to keep on tweaking, keep on changing. Writers too, I'm sure, just creators in general. So they need editors, they need people to go, that's enough, you got it, just move on, you got it. Okay, so goddamn you shippers. There's a couple bit of damage on this stuff as well. Now again, I shouldn't highlight this because it has nothing to do with the publisher, but something happened here with like the boxing or some crap, so it feels like I don't think I got impacted. Now is the camera? No, but the cover's fine. So it's just the sleeve. That's fine. I love the feeling of this book, man. I used to spend a lot of time in the university library, just kind of reading like old periodicals, old magazines that were binded together in the books, and I love the feeling of those binded books, man. So I'm getting that vibe here. All right, so geez, this is long. Let's get through this. I think it's the same artist. Let's see, Sebastian Fiumara, art by Max Fiumara. So they do split where maybe it did that in that book and I missed it, but it does say who does what. Now I get it. You can definitely see the art style difference, so they're distinguishable. It does feel like they alternate. Here, let me just validate that. 2, 4, 3, 4, 5. They alternate for the most part, is what I can tell. Dave Stewart on colors, which is always the one thing that will always bring it together and always make it feel like it has the same spirit. It'll be Dave Stewart's colors. But strangely enough, I mean, I do think that the colors... Oh, that's neat. The first page, check this out. I've already derailed myself on the first page. But it takes you back to like old school pulp right there, man. That takes you back to the 40s. Like even the way the text blocks work. I read a lot of pulp, especially pulp horror stuff, westerns. Oh man, I love it. Last page was all about, but it was neat, and I don't see it following through. I thought it was gonna be like a quick little, I don't know, they were gonna have a fun like pulpy kind of thing. That would have been fun. And as flipping through, this is of course the next half of that story. So if I'm about to spoil myself, it's gonna be now. So I want to be very careful to just move on and get, I don't know if I can find some, I'm just kind of doing random pulls here of art. Oh god damn. God, Abe. Okay, I have to show it. Like I didn't think Abe would get this. I don't know what took him down this path, but damn. That face came off. Now I don't know if that guy was alive or a zombie, but I hope he was. I mean, I'm seeing like whole cheeks come apart. This guy's dead. Okay, moving on. Maybe he got possessed. Maybe he was a monster. Let's just move on. Don't ask so many questions. Let's see this cover right here. This cover is cool. See this stuff like this under the sea, under the horrific sea. This right here, love it. I love ideas like this. I know that the new 52 Aquaman dealt with what were they called? I love the idea of it, and I'll probably go back. That's a series I would go back and collect some of those. Oh goddamn, the depths. Oh, Jeff Johns introduces like a deep sea sort of, not horror, but it sort of feels like that, and it's like into the depths of the trenches. Oh, it was something about a trench, yeah, and it was like, oh god. Those little creepy, like biting piranha-ish kind of creature things. I thought that was a great idea. I was like, oh, I'm in, and then I just stopped buying. I just stopped buying comics. I think around 2012. It was that when DC New 52 was happening. I collected almost everything. I bought almost the entire line. Just kind of like, oh, good starting on point. And then some of them I was cool with. Some of them I was like, nah. And then 2 trades in, 2 to 3. Most of them I didn't get to the 3rd trade. And then I just sort of gave up. I don't know what happened. I didn't feel it. Batman was great. I love the Batman run. And okay, derailing. Let's keep focus. So I'm flipping through, just seeing if anything super standouty-ish. Ooh, what is that? That looks neat. Here, let's show that one. Might be like a werebearish sort of transformation. I have no context, so it doesn't matter. But I think that art shows off some of that line work action, and what I love about the line work itself having character to it. But then you have like talking head scenes, and even those, like here, sure, I will show this, but see how like this is a talking head scene, but look at the difference in the artwork, right? It's not perfect, and that's perfect. For me, that makes it it's just there's a character to it, and so the art comes alive in different ways. It's not just still and stiff and boring. I know some people love it. I can't do it. I feel like my eyes need to like be entertained by by stuff that doesn't look 100%, and it's just kind of off the, I don't know. I mean, these faces definitely look a little awkward, and I don't know if that's intentional. Like these are actually like supposed to look awkward. Like that eye looks really off, and sometimes the cheeks look a little off, but they do look like they're not. I'm trying to validate that, but it's sort of everything is taking a look of twistedishness. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at. Let's flip through. I've already passed that one. I'm going back to the other artists. I prefer. Who would this one be? Probably Sebastian. I have to know now. Who's chapter 4? Yeah, Sebastian. Sebastian is my preference. He's the one with more of the line, the grungier line work stuff. That one's cool too. I like both of them, but Sebastian has more of that dark creep. He does this. Talk about it again. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that panel. Ah, it's like just a good control of the brushwork or ink work or whatever he's using there, but using light and white and knocking out the colors to make the scene come alive. And that's just, I love it. I love that kind of control. This one's got, I believe it feels like less. Still a good chunk of book is bonus. This is all the book, the second half of it. This is the art book and whatnot, the art sketches and the cover compositions to ink work. Look at the ink work on that. So yeah, it's pretty cool, man. Sebastian, I guess. That's what I'm thinking. He does a lot of that splatter effect. In the 90s, in the early 90s, there was a lot more of that kind of free inking art style. I feel like everything is just taking a certain style. Nowadays, that I feel some of that artist, like a piece of that artist is missing in a lot of the stuff that's out there. It's again serviceable. I don't say that in a negative way. It's just it's there. It's there. It moves the story along, but it doesn't really stand out. It doesn't make the artist stand out in unique ways. I feel like a lot of that unique art style was something that happened more often. Maybe that's why, I mean, I was going to say maybe it's just, it doesn't, no, it does happen today. It happens in image books. It happens in indie comics. But in the main big two, there's not a lot of risk taking when it comes to the art style. Not a lot. I wish there was more. So yeah, I'm flipping through the sketchbook, just looking at some cool stuff, breakdowns again. Great, really good double page breakdown right there on art paper of the pencils. This kind of gives you an idea of just what things look like in that earlier state, you know. And so I find sometimes I enjoy it better, to be honest. You can see the energy of the art, you know, before the inks cover it and stuff like that. Anyways, we got some Hellboy pinups in here, which seems a little bit off for an Abe Sapien book, but I suppose they have some extra pages to fill, so they threw them in. That is a wrap. I don't know where this series is at. I don't know if this is ongoing. It might still be ongoing, man. Let me check the site real quick. It says here Abe Sapien 36, The Desolate Shore. Is that a new run? I might not know about it. So here, I'm going to click on it and risk a pro. So one shot story with Sebastian Fiumara on art and the final part of the dark and terrible story cycle. So it looks like this is it for Abe Sapien. It's this collection of 3. I can't wait to read these ones. This is one of the ones that will probably be on the top of my stack, even though I have a lot of stuff to read. I looked up the wiki page, and I had finished basically reading. I caught up on all the Hellboy and BPRD stuff in around the 2012 mark, and then I bought the 3 trades for BPRD Hell on Earth. but they got destroyed by the water crisis down here. They didn't have them in plastic bags and stuff, so they got nailed. And then I switched to, I wanted to replace them to the Omnibus collections, and there were 5 of them, and I'm like, holy crap, they were still going on with Hell on Earth. I thought it was like a limited series. I was like, no, there are 5 Omnibus. That's a lot of comics that I lost out on. There was like 6-7 years worth of storytelling that happened with BPRD. And then I think when I got triggered to it, is like I found out there was a Hellboy in hell. I think that something happens, some storyline happens where he's going through hell or something. I was like, whoa, what's going on with this lore? I need to catch up on this stuff again. So I've got a lot of reading to do. This series in particular is one that's going to end up on the top of my stack, even though I got a ton to read. But there's so much to read here that's just it's gonna take me a long time, so I'm gonna have to pace myself. I will catch you in the next set of episodes where we're going to highlight BPRD Hell on Earth. I'll flip through some of those, and I'll catch you in the next stack of episodes. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace.